And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Keeg, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases, whether they're Marvel, whether they're indie, whether they're DC comics. We're here to talk about everything that we read this week. New DC comics come out on Tuesdays, new Marvel and indie comics come out on Wednesdays, and we're here on a Thursday, May 9th, 2024, to talk about everything that we read. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and if you're watching us live on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, you can see who our guests are. But if you're listening to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, you can't see us. And I have to introduce them. First up, we got vegan super kick Maggie. Maggie, what's up? Welcome back.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I heard you read a lot of comics this week.
I read a lot of comics this week. I was a busy girl the last 24 hours. Good week for new comics.
It is. There was a lot of comics this week, and I'm surprised because I didn't read that many. And there were a lot that I would read that are like, I've read the issue right before it.
Mm-hmm.
But not this one.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it was a good week. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm also trying to like prep these images because a little thing when people watch the live stream, you can see the images of the comics that I set up. But if you're listening to the podcast and you're driving, you're strolling, you're doing your thing, maybe you don't need to see the covers. You just need to hear our beautiful voices. So thanks for coming on, Maggie. We also got, and I don't know when the last time we had Ambrosia on the show. We got Ambrosia, Comics and Cupcakes. Are you still Comics and Cupcakes?
Yeah, I am.
Are you still doing TikTok content or no?
I am. Yeah, I've fallen off this year, but I've started to get back in the past couple weeks.
That's good.
So with the new job change, I'm trying to like get life together first, and then do everything that I like to do. But our basement flooded, and so I have which where all of my comics are at, and so our basement is finally done.
You didn't lose it, right?
No.
Okay.
Like we were able to save everything, but we just had to like throw everything away. No, sorry, not throw everything away. Throw them in like a pile. And so now I am like reorganizing everything, and so I'm getting back to like where I used to be. But it takes so long to put comics back together. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be so much easier than it was. It's not.
Yeah.
You like single issues too, right?
I do. Yeah. Most of my comics are all single issues.
How do you display them? You just have them in bins?
That is what I messed up in. I tried to like do something different because it was more aesthetically pleasing. That was my bad. But now I'm back to just the white boxes, short, long boxes. So I haven't really displayed them yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. Between Legos and comics, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Are your Legos
It's
okay?
a work in progress. A couple we'll have to rebuild, but I don't think we lost any pieces. So.
That's good.
It's not as bad as it could have been.
No, not at all.
You guys feel like this week was a good week for comics? Because I feel like it was a really good week for comics.
I do. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did you guys get more Marvel or DC or indie this week?
I ended up getting more Marvel.
I feel like it was a good half and half for me. I got like a lot of indie. Well, not really a lot, but I feel like it was a pretty good split across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to, so I guess I don't know whether I factor in to this, but it was a pretty good split, I think, from what I'm looking at. A lot of ones that I wanted to read. I let myself down, But what did you guys read?
Now I'm like counting out like how
many did you read?
Okay. I'll tell you what, there's one that I didn't get to, but I feel like Dimithri probably read it.
I don't know.
Mine is literally This is the perfect split between Marvel and DC, and then 2 indie books. But I read Boy Wonder, issue number 1 from DC.
Yeah.
Poison
very curious
Ivy
about that one.
22. Oh, you didn't read it?
I didn't read it. No. Again, I would have. This is my jam, but no.
Yeah.
So
You will.
Boy
Oh,
Wonder
yeah,
number
for sure.
1.
No, you'll read it. Boy Wonder number 1, Poison Ivy 22, Birds of Prey number 9. And then from Marvel, I read Deadpool number 2, Fantastic Four 20, and Daredevil number 9. Also read from Boom Studios Crocodile Black number 1. And I started the Armory Wars from Claudio Sanchez. Didn't finish that one. Also bought Giant Size X-Men, but didn't get to read that one.
Yeah, I have a thought about that. But yeah, did you read Mugshots 1?
No, I couldn't find it. Didn't get it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. But no, I mean, that's a good list. Again, I'd like to say that we hold ourselves to a higher standard than most people, like just anyone in the mainstream. Like, even normal comic book readers don't read as much as we do. And so, like, both of you are super, you know, in what you do and how much you read. So,
Shucks. I'll give like any number 1 a shot. You know what I mean? And kind of go from there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my viewpoint on it.
All right, we're gonna talk about X-Men in a little bit, but not right now. But we're gonna talk about it because there's some number 1s coming out soon. So
I know.
Ambrosia, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, wasn't there a point? I was thinking about it today. Wasn't there a point where Comic Talk used to be on Wednesday nights?
There might have been. Yeah.
I
That's
think so.
diabolical.
And I don't remember how we were able to read as
it was
much
COVID
as we
time.
did.
I think that's what it was. I think we were
was it?
Well, because I can say specifically it moved to Thursdays because I picked up a Wednesday trivia night. And so I couldn't make it work. And I only picked up a Wednesday trivia night March of 2021. So Comic Talk, I think, was going on before that. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been going on for a couple years
That's
now.
wild. Because it's hard enough sometimes to read everything before a Thursday night.
Yeah.
I don't know how Dimithri does it. Because Dimithri will come on here with like a 12-page list of stuff that he read.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know how you had time for all this.
We're talking about my younger self, as in even a week ago, younger me. Old me, I think read 1, 2 comics this week. It's bad.
Wow.
And that's not to say that I didn't have more that I could have read, but I only read. I don't know. It was not a good week for me. But I'm glad that you guys read a lot. Ambrosia, you got to tell me what you read.
Okay, so I did a lot of Marvel this week. So I have Venom, Dracula, Spider-Man, Shadow of the Green Goblin, Blood Hunters.
Wait, sorry.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Sorry, wait. You're going through all of them.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay,
what?
What did we get? We got Venom 33.
Okay. Yes. Dracula, issue number 1.
Dracula,
Spider-Man.
Blood Hunt 1.
Yes. Spider-Man, Shadow of the Green Goblin, issue number 2. Blood Hunters, issue number 1. The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 49. Darth Vader, issue number 46. I was hoping to get through Giant Size X-Men, the Avengers, Doctor Strange, the High Republic, and Strange Academy, but I did not have time to.
It's okay. It's okay. There was a lot. There was a lot going on, and I get it. Blood Hunters. Yeah, I wanted to read that. That's just
that might actually have been my pick of the week.
Really?
I didn't think to grab it.
Well, because I mean, right now, so everything right now with Marvel is Blood Hunters, and we see that with these big things coming on. And so I was surprised, but I enjoy Blood Hunters. There was 3 stories in here, and I loved all 3 of the stories. It was great.
Okay. Maggie, are you reading any of the Blood Hunt stuff?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Cause
I-
I don't know. I have some thoughts. Ambrosia, did you read Blood Hunt, the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Last week.
I'm trying to finish prepping these images, but basically, yeah, last week was Blood Hunt. So Marvel is going through a big crossover event that seems to be bridging the gap as X-Men is coming to a close for a new like beginning. Blood Hunt is the crossover that's going on right now. It's kind of similar. It's funny because at the end of the last era of X-Men, back in like 2019, Marvel put War of the Realms during that transition period as they were gearing up for the Krakoan Age. And so, this is them, I guess, doing it again, but with Blood Hunt. And Blood Hunt #1, I really liked. And
So did I.
there's a lot of crossovers and one-shots and everything that is going down in this, but, like, I really liked the first one. Ambrosia, were you the same?
Yes, I did. That's why I got Blood Hunters, because I felt like, we have everything right now is Blood Hunt, with the exception of a couple. So I was curious to know how Blood Hunters would fit into all of that, because, with Blood Hunt going on with all the other comics, but so far, issue #1 was really good. We have stuff in here. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Issue #1
like
of
in story
Blood
1.
Hunters?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
by the way,
a story.
really quick. My the 2 books that I read this week: Batman 147 and X-Men Forever #3. I skimmed through Giant Size X-Men #1, but it didn't grab me, and that's weird. But I'm also not a huge Angel fan. It was very Angel centric. Anyway, now we're getting to Ambrosia's pick of the week.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I read 2 comics this week.
That's 2 more than some people.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
And it's only Thursday.
Yeah, I'll read. I'll catch up on the weekend.
Yeah, that's typically I pick. Besides days I'm doing comic talk, I typically don't pick up my comics till Friday. So.
Well, thanks for
we're
doing
ahead.
that for this.
Anytime. So in Blood Hunters, the first story was centered around Hawkeye, which I don't know. I feel like in the Marvel world, we have so many different versions of Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He could be like an asshole, or he could just be, I don't know, so many different forms.
Really quick, and again, I feel like I'm interrupting you again. Maggie, do you know what Blood Hunt's about?
Not really. I'm not reading a whole lot of Marvel right now.
Which is fair. I think there's gonna be some crossovers. I would no doubt like Daredevil will crossover. But basically, the premise of Blood Hunt, and I won't spoil what happens at the end of Blood Hunt #1 because it's a big twist. But essentially, any hero or villain that has like the Dark Force dimension, anything with shadows or darkness, they all seem to kind of explode their darkness around the world. So now the world is in pitch black and all the vampires come out. And there's a super vampire team that goes up against the Avengers and fights them and kills some of them, I think. And so it's this huge worldwide conflict against vampires. And it doesn't they say that Dracula is not the one leading them. So there's a huge twist at the end of the first issue. And there's a bunch of one-shots. So Blood Hunters #1, I didn't read, but Ambrosia, sorry, continue.
Yes. No, you're fine. No, you summed it up great. And yeah, we find out more about Dracula in Dracula #1. But so Hawkeye, I really liked his character in here. He's a goofball, which is fun because I feel like we haven't seen that recently in some of his comics. And then we have Man-Wolf in another story with Jonah J. John.
Is it John? Is it John Jameson? Man-Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we get a story between him and his dad, and even Spider-Man, which is, I think that may have been one of my favorites. It's just a very wholesome dad and son moment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked the storyline in that one a lot. And then the last one had to do with Dagger.
Mm-hmm.
because we haven't seen. Hey, Meadow. Sorry, dogs are getting into comics. Which I haven't seen her in a while either.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing about
yeah,
Dagger
this was.
is that Cloak was one of the people who like exploded his like Dark Force energy. He's one of the many like shadow kind of users. So, you know, that's I guess where Dagger comes in. I thought it was going to be a team. Like Blood Hunters would be a team of like vampire hunters, but no, they aren't, or they are.
So did I? No, they're not. Not
Oh.
yet. Well, I guess essentially they're all taking down the vampires and everything, but in like their own way. So each one of them takes place in a different part of the city.
Okay.
So we have like Manhattan. Yeah. So all different places. But no, they're not team. Not yet. Maybe in the future we'll see them team up in some way that they'll collide. But as of right now, they aren't.
Okay.
I guess I'm like Hawkeye kind of creates his own team with like a priest and a puppet therapist. So he like just finds people off of the street and they create their own little team, which was kind of hilarious. But I'm hoping that maybe they'll all three of the stories. That'd be great if all three of the stories kind of could form into one.
Okay. All right. And that was your pick of the week?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
All right. Cool. Maggie, do you like vampires?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Absolutely.
I like vampires, but I think they're overplayed. So
sure.
I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this event, but so far, like, it's been pretty cool. So, you know.
Wasn't there a DC event recently with vampires?
Yeah, DC versus vampires, and I like that one. I don't want to spoil the spoiler in Blood Hunt, but like, they're all pretty good. DC versus vampires is an alternate timeline, so like it's its own thing. But versus Blood Hunt, which takes place in the main Marvel universe, so the ramifications in one will affect the main storylines. So I don't know. Maggie, what was your pick of the week? Because you read, how many did you read? You read like a bunch.
I know. I'm pulling a Dimithri this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 7.5.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good for me.
No, yeah. I guess I did 2.5. I guess.
Yeah. I would have to say, pick of the week. It's a pretty strong tie between Poison Ivy 22 and maybe Boy Wonder, which you're number 1. Like I was really surprised at how much I liked it.
Okay.
But I like Judy. But yeah, for me, it really comes down to like the artwork in both of these. I mean, the artwork in Poison Ivy is always incredible, but this issue in particular, kind of everything that has been going on besides that 3-issue origin story they did for her has kind of been coming to it's all kind of coming to a culmination point in this issue, and it's just like crazy detailed, and I don't know, it's just really interesting. I'm just so happy that this comic has gone on as long as it has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just keep it going at this point.
Especially with the way these publishers are dealing with their like numbering and whatnot. For example, like Jay Garrick, The Flash, and Alan Scott, Green Lantern were, I originally assumed they would be miniseries, but they weren't labeled like 1 of 6, 2 of 6 until they got to the 6th issue, and they're like the final issue, and it's like what?
Yeah.
And I think it's so the publishers can give an option to like extend or not extend. And for Poison Ivy, it was supposed to be just 6 issues, and then they extended it to 12, and then they extended it indefinitely.
Yeah. So like, I'm just excited for every time there's a new one coming out, because I'm like, oh yeah, another. But this is definitely like the ending of what's been going on for these last 22 issues. You know what I mean? It doesn't end indefinitely with 22, but we'll see like a new arc start, I think. But it's great. Okay. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm behind on Poison Ivy. I probably got to like issue 14, and like
I remember you saying that last time, so I didn't want to spoil anything. But
yeah, I mean I'm
yeah.
okay with it because I'm gonna read it. Like this
Mhm.
is the type of storytelling where like even if you know the spoilers, you're still gonna read it.
Yeah.
Versus like big old crossover events, it might spoil some of the enjoyment if you say blah 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 happened at the end of Blood Hunt #1, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there's a twist halfway in DC versus Vampires that like I don't say out loud because I just hope that people will read DC versus Vampires. By the way, have you guys read DC versus Vampires?
I remember reading it. Like there was like a couple one shots or something, right? That I can't remember. I
Yeah.
don't think I read everything.
Okay. I would recommend going back and reading the 12 issues because I loved
Yeah.
it. And it didn't end. Like, the ending
Okay.
wasn't an ending. So, they're going to do a sequel, you know?
No. And I read a couple of them. I think I started it off, and I think I just fell behind.
Yeah. I can't remember what happened. Like I remember reading some of it, but I can't remember what happened.
In issue, I think it's 12 issues. And at the end of issue 6, you find out who's leading all the vampires. And
Mhm.
I won't say who the ruler is, but, you know, that's... It's a big one. It's a doozy in DC versus Vampires. But,
I think it would be a good trade read.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if they have a hardcover for it, but you know.
Can you like? I feel like I know who it was, or like I think the last one I read, it was like, and I was like, she did not, because then you thought that it was someone else, but then it actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
You think
pull
it's
you.
one person?
Was it a female? Is this person a female?
I can't tell you. And also, you're
So
asking
that's
me.
a yeah.
I can't tell you. No. They think it's one person, and then they find that person dead, and they're like, "What? Who could it be?" And it turns out it's another person. So, you know, I don't know.
Wonder Woman. No, I'm just kidding.
It's well, a lot of them get turned to vampires, but they're not like the leader. So
yeah.
you know, that was a good story that came out, and I've forgotten about it. Like, definitely a recommendation. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
So Poison Ivy, I need to catch up on. I guess between the two books, then, I mean, I only read Batman 147 and X-Men Forever #3, and I guess between the two of them, X-Men Forever #3, just because it's closing up everything. There's 4 issues of X-Men Forever that tie in with Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of X, and like they're supposed to like, you know, finish off this whole era. And so yeah, I guess X-Men Forever #3, it's a lot of X-Men lore. It's just a lot of X-Men lore. But it has some good scenes with Destiny, Mystique, and Nightcrawler. And I don't know if you two know about the recent retcon that happened with Nightcrawler's origins.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you guys know who Nightcrawler's parents are?
No.
Do you know who his mom is?
No.
Nightcrawler's mom is Mystique.
Okay.
Do you guys know that? No? Okay. That's an
That's
old
what I thought,
thing.
but I didn't want to
Yeah.
say anything.
So like
Yeah, okay.
Nightcrawler's mom is Mystique. So originally Nightcrawler was just Nightcrawler. And then they were like, okay, Mystique is his mom and some like German baron is his father. And then she threw the blue baby off the cliff as she was running away. And then they did a retcon back in the early 2000s where his mom is Mystique, but his dad is Azazel, like this red-looking devil guy, and he's in X-Men First Class. So I don't know if you remember X-Men First Class. There's like a red devil-looking guy who can teleport. So then they're like, oh, because he looks just like Nightcrawler, but he's red. So they just did a retcon where Mystique is his father. Mystique is his father and Destiny's his mother. And Mystique impregnated Destiny, and with Nightcrawler, and it sounds super convoluted, but it works. Like the heart of it works because like Mystique and Destiny, like recently Marvel officially announced them as like a lesbian couple, and they've been like a lesbian couple through history, like, and so like Marvel just did that, and next month is their wedding, so Mystique and Destiny are finally getting married. I guess like what's marriage anyway in their like 100-year-long like relationship,
Right.
but whatever. What does it matter?
They needed a pride issue subject.
It's for
Yeah, that's exactly it,
it's
yeah.
for the pride issue. So, but I'm kind of happy because Nightcrawler kind of gets a family. It's kind of nice. So Mystique is, I mean, genetically his dad. So he has two moms.
I mean, hell yeah, on the two mom thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a lot of information to take.
I left some pieces out. Basically, there were like Destiny had seen into the future, and like she knows that like Azazel has to believe that Nightcrawler is his son. So technically, the sperm that came from Mystique was there to make Nightcrawler look like Azazel in a way. So
Okay.
that's genetics, you know.
I'm
like-
gonna need you to draw out a family tree.
Yeah. Now you
Should
see
I
why
draw a diagram of how
hesitant to read that book.
Mystique and Destiny? Let me get two dolls, and this is how it works. I don't know. Anyway,
look
X-Men
Charlie
Forever
from-
#3. What'd you say? What were you-
that you're gonna look like Charlie from It's Always Sunny with like the bulletin
yeah.
board behind you.
If there's anything about X-Men, just know that all the X-Men have had sex with each other, and all of them have died at some point, and all of them have huge family trees.
I kind of think of them as like a much larger version of Fleetwood Mac.
Is that a Fleetwood Mac thing?
I mean, they all had different relationships with each other.
Oh,
So
okay.
in my head, like that's what they are. So
That's funny.
It's funny you bring up Fleetwood Mac because that was one of the questions on the game show that I'm on, on like yesterday or the day before's episode, and I got it wrong because I was under pressure, and I'm sorry.
What was the
I would
question?
have gotten most of those wrong.
The question was like, you know, this person was the front woman for Fleetwood Mac, and the only name that came to mind was Pat Benatar, and I know it's not Pat Benatar, but like time was running out and I just couldn't figure it out. But I'm still going, so it didn't lose me the episode. It just lost me 5K.
And the respect of Stevie Nicks, but you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Stevie Nicks. So now that we got through all our picks of the week and the weird family tree that is X-Men characters, let's talk about everything else that we read this week, because there is a lot, and I am very sad, and I'm living vicariously through you two.
Okay. Ambrosia, you go first.
Hi. Let's see. I loved Spider-Man: Shadow of Green Goblin.
Why wasn't it your pick of the
one-
week? I thought it was gonna be.
I think I liked a lot of things this week because I was like, oh shoot, that was actually really good too. I suck at picking number ones.
That's a good problem to have, though, is when you can have multiple,
know,
you know?
Yeah, no, it's true, because I feel like I can't always do that some weeks. But this one was great, and I think it was also a nice little break from the blood hunt stuff going on right now. And I love Green Goblin anyways, and so I really like the storyline. I know some people probably will disagree with this because we have a lot, so much of like the same, not same storyline, but we see the same characters between Harry and Norman and Gwen Stacy and Uncle Ben. Like, plot twist, Uncle Ben dies again.
It's a flash. It's a prequel comic, right? In a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing that I liked about this is that we have Emily Norman or Emily Osborne. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, his mom, and I feel like we don't always get to see that side of her or to see her at all. But
Yeah.
plot twist, she is a spoiler, controlling the goblin beast. And so
I read the
wasn't
first issue. I didn't read the second.
what did you think about the first issue?
I thought it was okay. I don't like the design of that goblin beast thing.
I don't either.
But like, it's like this red hulking brute looking thing. But like, okay, fine. But it does end with the thing of like, oh, it's Mrs. Osborne, you know?
Yeah. And so I think that's what some people are like, okay, here we go again, with the Osbournes. But
I just hope they don't. Well, they like solved the Gwen Stacy Norman Osborn thing with this weird like retcon like a couple of years back. I'm glad they solved it, but like whenever I see Norman Osborn and Gwen Stacy in the same room together, I get like PTSD.
no, and I'm so glad that they retconned that. But like the way that they like that whole storyline, I hate that storyline, and everything that we had to do to get to that point was horrible.
And
but
correct
it's
me if
fine.
I'm wrong, the retcon solved the problem from Gwen Stacy's end. But as far as I remember, it didn't solve it from Norman's end. In other words, Norman thought it was Gwen Stacy he was sleeping with.
Correct.
So at least we know that Gwen Stacy didn't sleep with Norman Osborn. But Norman Osborn meant to sleep with Gwen Stacy. His son's ex at the time, I think.
Yep, and I think that's where a lot of people wanted it retconned because like that just isn't something with the little amount that we met with Gwen Stacy. That's something that she wouldn't do. But apparently, it's what Harry would do or Norman. But one thing that I really did like about this issue was that we got to hang out with Sandman in here, and we got a little bit of his backstory, and it really just like tugs at your heartstrings, and him and Peter just have this really great heart to heart, and I really liked their little bonding scene between them.
I like Sandman as a sympathetic villain.
And he was like, and that was what like their conversation was of like he wants to do more and he wants to be a hero, but also like, how am I going to save people with like my sand? And so he does
join the Avengers at a point in his career. I don't know if you knew that, but like Sandman was an Avenger.
Yeah, that was how many years ago?
A long time. I mean, it might have been like 80s, maybe. But yeah.
And so I think that was one of my favorite parts that we saw in here. And he admits that he thought about being a hero at one time, but a man is what a man is, as he quoted. And so kind of like one of those things. And I feel like, Spidey has that connection with people. He wants people to do good. But at the end of the day, they are who they are. And I think we see that a lot with Felicia Hardy. And so it was cool to see that with, Sandman. And I like Sandman. So I thought it was great. So we have this proto goblin, and he's kidnapped Harry.
Okay.
And taken him back to his mom, Emily.
Okay. Fair.
It was pretty good.
That was kind of like your second pick of the week, like your number 2, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Ish. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I liked a lot of things this week. Oh yeah, because I also really liked Blade. That was good.
Which?
Oh no, not Blade. Dracula. Sorry.
Oh okay. Yeah. Because I was like, Blade ended, and then now he's in Blood Hunt, and
yes.
Okay. All right. Maggie. Tell me about Boy Wonder, because does it fit into continuity or is it out of continuity? Because it's Black Label, right?
Black Label. And I actually didn't even pay attention to that until I just like turned it around to read on the back about it. To be honest, well, I mean, I don't, besides like Superman, I don't do a lot of male DC characters.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? I imagine being a Black Label book, it is just kind of like its own thing. But I thought that this was just really interesting. Like if you're familiar with Junie Ba's work, they are just like I don't know, their artwork is just really cool, and like the way that they tell stories is really, really cool. And this is just all about Damien learning what it means to be a Robin. Um, and the way to kind of present this story is you don't see him, but obviously you can tell that he's been like accident napped or held hostage in this like robbery situation. And the robber is like pretty stressed out, and there's like a cover over his face, but like you can see like the colors of what he's wearing. And
Okay.
so Damien is like, let me tell you a story. And it's like this whole story, like once upon a time, like literally like a fairy tale story about Prince Damien and being adopted and living with Batman and dealing with Dick Grayson and having his brothers be more important than him.
Yeah.
And
When
yeah,
you
just
say
kind
his
of
brothers as in the previous Robins?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
No, that's good. I like it when DC essentially they make the Robins brothers, and when
Mhm.
they're the sons of Bruce Wayne, as opposed to like they're just like friends that hang out,
Yeah.
you know. But okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Um, I really, really liked it. I think that it was probably my number two, and I didn't expect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But as someone who doesn't really, I don't really read a lot about the Bat family or like any of those characters. So like I figured, why not give it a shot, see how I like it. This feels like a good starting point for someone who knows nothing.
yeah,
So yeah, I really liked it a lot.
that's really good because like as I talk about like X-Men and whatnot, like I realize that like it's not new user friendly, right? Like
Mm.
new reader friendly. And so like finding good comics that are good and they don't like I don't know, that they tell a good story even if like they are new reader friendly, like that's a really good thing because then people can just jump
Mhm.
in on that and not have to like go through the motions of like dealing with a lackluster story just to get them up to speed, but rather
Yeah. Yeah,
something good.
exactly. And I would say that I'm still a newer comic girl. Like I started reading comics like 2020 or something
Yeah.
like that. So, for me, it's one of those things of like I'll usually just pick a character and dive into them, and then they're my favorite for a little bit, and I don't really bother with like big family trees and legacy characters and stuff like that unless it's something really interesting to me. So,
Yeah.
from my perspective, they don't really know anything about the line of Robins, this might be a fun place to start.
Yeah.
Um, get little info. Plus, I've never read a Black Label book that I didn't like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, and once you said it was Black Label, I immediately was like, I definitely need to check it out because I think
Yeah.
Black Label is some of my favorite
Yeah.
from DC. And so yeah, I'm excited to jump on that bandwagon.
Black
For sure.
Label's really interesting because like online people were saying like why is Boy Wonder Black Label? It seems pretty family friendly. Um was that the case? The first issue was like pretty family friendly?
I mean, yeah, like I would imagine so. Gosh, the art in this is so like if you buy it for any reason, buy it just to look at the artwork.
Yeah.
It's just so great. Um, Nothing really sticks out as like crazy violent or, anything like that. But I mean, it's still the first issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see, I guess.
Black Label is interesting as like an initiative because or an imprint because like the creators can then kind of do what they want with no concern for continuity and kind of tell the stories that they want to without having to
Mhm.
do like I guess much research. And I'm sure it's a good draw for like people who are like well-known authors of books that
Mhm.
like don't know comics that much, but they're like I just want to tell a story about Batman solving a mystery. And like they just kind of write their own continuity. So I'm interested about this one. I'm not a big fan of that idea because I like continuity,
Mhm.
but I also like the fact that people can pick up Black Label books and just read them, and you don't
Yeah.
need that extra stuff. Um, for example, I don't know if you read Peacemaker Tries Hard.
No,
Mm-mm.
I think I bought like issue one, but I never committed to it.
It was funny, like legitimately funny,
Yeah.
because it was channeling the John Cena Peacemaker, and
Yeah.
it was going Peacemaker TV show in a way that was like, it was just wild and weird. That like, even though the Peacemaker in the regular comics continuity, they've made a little dumber and more like John Cena. He's not full John Cena in the regular comics, but in that one he was. And like, people who like the show should definitely like check that out. It's not something they could have done in regular continuity. Is anyone reading Batman at all? Cause so what's happening right now is, so Blood Hunt is in Marvel, and then DC is moving towards a crossover event called Absolute Power. And Free Comic Book Day had Absolute Power issue 0 or whatever, just to kind of get us interested. But basically, what's happening with Absolute Power, the upcoming crossover, is that Amanda Waller, who runs the Suicide Squad, she is essentially like just trying to amass so much power, right? Like political power and whatnot. And so we're not sure exactly how it's going to go down. But in Batman, what's happened is Batman essentially has like this backup personality that is just more hardcore and not like emotionally attached to people. And it's called Zur-En-Arrh. And it's just this like subconscious like trigger in the back of his head that makes him like stay the path, right? And so Zur-En-Arrh has taken over Batman in this run by Chip Zdarsky. Zur-En-Arrh has taken over Batman and then uploaded Zur-En-Arrh into a robot body. So we have this like hardcore Batman that's in what's called failsafe, like a robot Batman, and then you have Bruce Wayne trying to outrun that robot who knows how he thinks. So it's this thing. And I think Waller teams up with Zur-En-Arrh Batman in the Absolute Power crossover event. And so if that interests people, cool. If it doesn't, then skip it, you know? Batman will be back to normal at some point. But Chip Zdarsky is doing his best, and he's like experimenting with things. And that's cool too.
And I like most of Chip's work anyways. But I've only really read him. Well, actually, I've only really read him in Marvel side. So, you know, his Daredevil and what else did he write a lot of?
Spider-Man, Story.
Yeah, there we go. Life Story was fabulous.
Yeah. So
I'd really check him out in Batman.
Yeah. I like skimmed through Giant Size X-Men #1. It's called #1, but it's not #1. It's just like Giant Size X-Men for this year, I guess. I don't know. It's not an annual. Giant Size X-Men's are rare. The first ever Giant Size X-Men was the one that is my favorite X-Men story of all time, which is the introduction of like Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus, all those characters as the Gen 2 team of X-Men back in like the 70s. This one was just like an angel story, and I don't know if you guys read it, but it was not my thing.
I bought it,
but
I didn't. I saved it for last because it was such a big book, and I just didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Was there more to the book other than the angel story? I don't know. Okay.
We'll never know.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, maybe we will if we read it.
Yeah. X-Men is coming to a close, and I would say if you don't want to be bogged down by continuity, then skip the resolution of this era. You don't need it. I love it because I've been invested for the past 5 years. But there's a bunch of new X-Men comics coming out starting in July that are going to be really cool and really like easy to hop on, you know? So
cool.
Shout out to Curly Insane Guy on Twitch. If anyone's out there watching or listening, like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review, do your thing. Curly Insane Guy says, "Hey ya." So thank you. Hey ya to you back.
Hey ya.
Hey ya.
What's up?
What else did you guys read? Now it's all you two, because I'm just here to facilitate.
We get to run the
All
show.
right.
I don't think we read any of the same stuff either. So like, this is really fun. Okay. You go.
Wait. Okay, I was gonna say you just went right.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. I really like Dracula. Again, it's into the blood hunt stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is it
So
possible
Dracula's,
to talk about this issue without spoiling the end of Blood Hunt #1?
I think so.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about, right? The big twist at the end of Blood Hunt #1?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Well, is it had
It has to do with a
about
specific person, yeah.
a spawn of a specific person?
Whatever. But, like, you know, do what you want with Dracula Blood Hunt #1. For anyone who is afraid of spoilers, fast forward a minute and we'll be fine.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. So this story is between Dracula and, well, I don't know, Blade's daughter.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to live a normal high school life while Dracula wants her, and trying to hunt her down. And they're trying to figure out why, and you'll find out why at the end. And so it starts off with, those two different perspectives. And I'm always a Blade fan. Blade is like always one of my favorites. And so it was really cool to see his daughter in action. And so
what's his daughter's name?
Burrell.
But what was
Burrell Brooks.
But what was her name of when she had that miniseries?
Oh.
It was called something. She has like a superhero name, right?
Yes, maybe. I don't think it talks about it in here.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just
Bloodline.
What is it?
Bloodline? It might be her code name, or it might just be the name of the miniseries. Because her miniseries was called Bloodline Daughter of Blade. But the name Bloodline also has like a logo. The O's become a heart with a stake through it. So like it makes me think her name, if they did enough to make a logo for her, that's probably her code name.
You're right. Yeah, her origin story. Oh, well, in Burrell's origin story, Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. Oh, okay. Of course.
Okay.
But is it like so Bloodline the concept? Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, or like her name, Bloodline, Daughter of Blade?
It's Blood. I don't think it's her name. I think that's just like the concept.
Like, okay.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think so too, especially like it's her bloodline.
Curly Insane Guy. I don't know who you are out there, but thank you. Curly Insane Guy is saying, I think it's a bit of both. Yeah. So it's like, ooh. I mean, it's a double entendre, sure, but is it her code name? I don't know.
I don't think so, but maybe it is. And maybe I'm wrong. And we'll find out maybe next time I come on. Dracula Blood Hunt issue #2 will be out because this is one of 3. So I'm glad that it's not just a one shot, because I'd be really disappointed, especially because this is like Dracula's time to shine, and we just ended a Blade. So I liked that we have his daughter in here, and she's kicking ass. And then at the end of why Dracula truly wants her is also surprising, that I will not spoil. Okay. But yeah, I really liked it. It was fabulous. I think that's also one of my favorite tie-ins for Blood Hunt.
I just realized that whoever Dracula like hooks up with, he's so old that he's just automatically a pedophile.
That's
you know what I mean? Like if he's that old, like you can't have a gap bigger than that, right?
Okay, but what about Edward Cullen and Bella?
Oh, I mean, don't get me started on that. I don't know what's going on there.
I mean,
does that make him?
She should have gotten with Jacob.
Oh, but then also Jacob and then Renee Esme, like
he imprinted on.
Is weird. That's a weird thing. That's like
just a bunch of pedophiles.
Yeah, just a bunch. Yeah, exactly. So let's not derail. Let's have this rest of comic talk be about that. Okay.
Yeah. Huh.
So
anyways, it was great. I like Dracula.
Okay, cool.
Recommend.
Maggie, was Birds of Prey #9 not good? Because I wanted to read. I'm all caught up except for this issue, but like, was it not good? Because you haven't talked about it.
I thought it was fine. So did you read issue 8?
Yeah.
I feel like I was on here for 8. Okay, so at the very end of 8, they get sucked up into a portal or something like that. This issue is like 90% them just trying to figure out what they are.
Mm.
And without spoiling it, one of them is being used by, I can't remember because I read that like yesterday.
Mm.
There's a little bit of a twist in this one, but for the most part, it is them just trying to figure out where this portal took them.
Okay.
So it's nothing crazy happens.
Yeah, but it's about the dynamics between the characters, right? Like,
Yeah, it's definitely more just like building the team up,
Yeah.
which is great.
I'm
But
glad they included Vixen.
Yeah.
Because Vixen's often overlooked, and I'm glad that Vixen was introduced in issue 8,
yes, I think it was issue 8.
and then because of Vixen being a fashion model, it made the runway a setting,
Hmm.
and then Barda getting naked was funny.
That was truly one of my favorite. That I think was my pick of the week when I was on here
Yeah.
last time, just because it was just funny.
Did
It
you
was
do a
just good.
TikTok on that, or did somebody do?
Probably.
It was
Yeah,
probably okay.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Barda. You know, I also
Yeah.
just a side note, I like Big Barda and Mr. Miracle together because they are a tall woman, short king couple, and there needs to be more tall women, short king couples.
Exactly.
You know, out there. Speaking from my perspective as a tall woman.
Exactly.
Out of one or the other, which one am I? Yeah, tall woman. Okay. Birds of Prey, I need to catch up on. That was one of my ones that I needed to read this week, and I didn't, and I'm very disappointed. Ambrosia.
Hi.
Another Blood Hunt tie-in was Amazing Spider-Man 49.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, this one wasn't my favorite.
Okay, fair. We don't have to talk much about it if it's not your favorite, but like, was it really bad?
No, it wasn't really bad. It just isn't great. I think in comparison to some of the other Blood Hunt stuff that we have going on, this was just like, meh. And in here we have Rabbit. Sorry, not Rabbit. What's her name? And we have the Lizard.
White Rabbit?
And White Rabbit, thank you.
Yeah.
And she turns spoilers.
She turns into a vampire?
She does.
Yeah.
And they want Spider-Man to help fix her. And so he runs into a whole bunch of other little vampires, and I think I'll be honest, I feel like this is a little weak for the Blood Hunt series. So I think that this issue could have not been part of the tie-in. But
Yeah.
Here we are.
I mean, yeah. There's a lot of Blood Hunt tie-ins, right? Isn't Doctor Strange 15? Did you read that one?
No, I haven't, but
the cover is literally Doctor Strange with vampire teeth. So, oh yeah, it is a Blood Hunt tie-in. Half the Marvel books this week were Blood Hunt tie-ins.
Yes, as well as Strange Academy, and Venom, and the Avengers. Yeah, there's so much Blood Hunt. So that's like kind of bittersweet. I think that's why I enjoyed Green Goblin or the Spider-Man Shadows Goblin, because it wasn't a tie-in.
Yeah.
I was just looking. First of all, I didn't know that League of Comic Geeks did this, but they now have this thing where like you click on an issue, and if it's a part of a tie-in, it provides you the entire list.
Oh.
And it looks like there's going to be 59 issues in. Yeah. That's a lot.
That tie-in with Blood Hunt, yeah. But I think it's one of those, like, at the very least, you just see vampires pop up in your favorite book. I don't know whether they have to do with the main plot, you know? So they might derail the main plot, sure. But, like, I don't think it's a completionist sort of situation.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's why I got annoyed with it being in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Was because it felt like it was just but I'm not one to say, because I haven't read the Avengers or Doctor Strange yet to see how those also tie in.
From my
like with
understanding-
Strange Academy.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, like at least with like Strange Academy, it's like 1 of 3, and so they give them like a mini series, which I think
Yeah.
is like good. I think they did that with what was it? Sins. Oh,
Sins of Sinister?
Maybe. I don't remember. It was years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Strange Academy isn't an ongoing anymore. They like finished up their like series until they restart again. I love Strange Academy. So the fact that like, oh, there's going to be a 3-issue miniseries, I guess, tying in with this, then at least you get to see your favorite characters again for 3 issues, and then, you know. So it's almost like Blood Hunt is a blessing in that respect, because you get to see these characters pop back up again just for a little bit. But my understanding of Avengers is that Captain America is putting together an alternate Avengers team because of the events of Blood Hunt 1. So we see from the cover, if I'm remembering the cover correctly, like we see Hazmat, we see Hercules, and that's all I can remember from the cover of Avengers. Curly Insane Guy says the AAPI Heritage cover with Cassandra is awesome. So I think Cassandra Cain has an AAPI variant cover for Birds of Prey 9. That was part of my little slideshow that I was doing while you were talking about it. But yeah, I mean, there's some really good variant covers out there, just in general. But what's really cool is like when a month comes by, they try to like use variant covers to spotlight certain characters.
I see it.
AAPI or Pride covers and whatnot.
Well, that is really cool. I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't make sense.
Yeah.
Marvel has Pride covers that are coming out, which have like, this is a side note, and it's almost like I want to do a TikTok on it, but essentially what it is like they pair their queer characters with like a more prominent character for that prominent character's variant cover. So like Amazing Spider-Man has an alternate variant cover that has Spider-Man and like North Star from the X-Men who's gay. And it's like North Star and Spider-Man, I don't think have ever spoken to each other. Why is he on the cover of that? And when you look through all the Pride variant covers, you realize that like that's because there just aren't any queer characters in Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, I guess Felicia Hardy, they could have done one, like, but I don't know what they did. You know, and it just realized like all these prominent comic book series don't have queer characters, and they're all coming from X-Men. That's the thing. X-Men have like 30 queer characters, and they're all being borrowed by like Iron Man, and it's like these characters have never met. Why are they on the same cover?
Didn't we have this conversation like generally last year too? Like it was almost like they made allies out of all the major characters for Pride, and people were like, well we'll just write queer stories. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think
they have to get their Pride like check mark of we are inclusive.
Yeah. And it's
like
I think it also spotlights
however, I will
sorry, real quick, how much work X-Men writers do for diversity that the rest of Marvel gets to capitalize on. I'm not saying that there aren't diverse characters in Marvel, but the fact that a lot of the diversity comes from X-Men. The many X-Men titles are the ones giving those characters to the rest of the Marvel universe.
Well, and when you have to just tack on queer characters to a probably like a canonically straight character's cover, like you have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just not writing queer stories. Like,
and I don't think North Star is even in the issue. I think just the cover is Spider-Man and North Star on a variant cover, not the main cover, the variant cover that's a Pride cover, and he's not even in the issue. As far as I know, anyone out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, that issue doesn't include North Star. It's just a North Star cover, and North Star can't even have his own cover without putting it with Spider-Man, who he's not ever connected to.
Right.
No, and then that's like the frustrating thing, because it's just so they could say that they are inclusive.
Yeah.
They did their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have to pair it because they can't
But I will
have
say,
a North Star cover.
Also, isn't it like I don't know. I don't really read a whole lot of Spider-Man, but like Spider-Man maybe bisexual.
They will never
Oh,
say that, but you guys want to talk about that? We can talk about that. They'll never
I think
say
it
that
should be.
Peter Parker is bisexual, but also
No.
I don't think he has to be.
Yeah.
Personally,
No, I
like
don't think it has to be either,
I
but
think
like
Peter Parker could be straight as straight comes, no pun intended. But like his characters around him could be, so why aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, and right now, well, yes, because like I think one of like the first TikToks I did years ago was going over all of his love interests, and man, that kid has a long list of ladies that he has attracted. But I will say that in the new Black Cat and Jackpot series, Black Cat does have a girlfriend in there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we haven't, like, you know, she'll have like romances and like quick little flings, but to actually like have her have a girlfriend, I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Curly Insane Guy says make Johnny Storm and Peter Parker happen.
Please. Please.
Look, will I get upset if that happens? No. I think there's like a greater problem that's happening, which is a problem with representation and everything. Also the fact that like storytellers are more likely to turn a straight female character bi than turn a straight male character bi.
I think that's what I was trying to get at.
You know?
Yeah. Like let Peter be bi. He wants it. We
Cast, the X-Men podcast, made a compelling case for Juggernaut being gay. Like all the points line up. There's evidence and everything. And Marvel, I think the first step is Marvel making Juggernaut canonically gay. If he's not, then they'll never do it with Peter Parker.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't be afraid to say it. I think that's everyone's point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
My connection is getting
Yeah.
weird and I don't know why, but hopefully it clears up. You guys can hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. We are dropping. What is. Okay. Maybe we're back to normal here. Okay. We're back to healthy. Okay. So, that's whatever. That's the Pride covers. Let's finish the last couple books that we have before we have to call it. Maggie, you read Crocodile Black.
I did.
Issue number 1. What brought you to Crocodile Black? Because it's a Boom Studios, it's an independent.
Yeah, I love Boom Studios. Boom is another one. Like I said earlier, I will read pretty much any number one. I will absolutely read any Boom number one. This is just it's a mature. There's some violence in here. There's some gore. I like that. This is set in pandemic. They haven't really like discussed outright if it's like during COVID or not, but like it's set in a pandemic setting and our main character is clearly struggling with some visions. We think maybe it's like a relative, like a brother, I think. There's like a little bit of a gap between his story and then like some creepy murder stuff that's going on, and we're trying to kind of connect that a little bit. So there's a lot happening, but it's very good. It's very intriguing. I had a good time. I liked it.
It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. What else did he do? He's done.
I don't know off the
bunch.
top of my head. Yeah, I know the name, but I'm not wildly familiar. Like, I don't know.
Oh, my favorite run of, like, oh wait, yeah, Philip Kennedy Johnson. He did Superman the World Superman the World Saga. Wait, oh, anyway, sorry, continue.
No, you're fine because I'm looking at
like
it too now.
blinking, and
They've done a lot of stuff. Titles. Green Lantern War Journal. They've done some alien stuff. Marvel Zombies Resurrection. Yeah, just like all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to follow him on Insta. Curly Insane Guy. By the way, I don't know who you are, Curly Insane Guy. Are you also a content creator? If you know, either way. But you seem to know a good amount about comics. Curly Insane Guy says PKJ's Superman was good. Yeah, World Saga was one of the best Superman stories ever told. And his Hulk's been solid, but I've not read anything independent from him. I'll have to check this one out.
Yeah, this was fun. Like I said, it's violent. If you're into that kind of thing. Just a little murder mystery situation. I liked it. I like that kind of stuff though. So
Are you an edgelord to comics?
What? Who?
Dimithri used to call me. Yeah. What did you call me? The edgelord? Edgelord comics.
You're an edgelord when it comes to comics. You're like a.
I think Maggie's
like
right there up there.
A preteen boy who's like, I just like Venom and like when he chomps heads off.
I like carnage. Yeah. I like blood.
I
like mysteries.
Yeah. I love like I don't know, like I love my favorite kind of movies are like mafia movies. You know what I mean? I love stuff about the mob. I love like a little pew pew.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I like a little
Maggie, you can come join my edgelord side of things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. let's quickly like 30 seconds, whatever, like do like really quick reviews of the remaining comics that we have yet to cover. Curly Insane Guy, give us all a follow. Curly Insane Guy says, I'm mostly a Threads comic commentator. That's interesting. That cool. like content only on Threads. But I see it. I'm sure you know Wednesday Pull.
I see Curly Insane Guy all over the Instagram. Ooh. Threads. I know you, Curly Insane Guy.
Ooh, okay. Curly Insane Guy, yeah, all right, cool. Give us a follow if you haven't already. What was I saying? Oh yeah, let's talk about the last
30
couple.
Second.
Yeah. Let's talk about the last couple comics just so we can close this out. I'll say it. Nobody read Mugshots 1, right? That's the one that you missed, Maggie?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Who read Fantastic Four 20?
Me.
Are you up to date with Fantastic Four?
Honestly, no. I could not find 18 and 19, so I just jumped into this one hoping I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah,
and I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't think so. 10 out of 10. I think that Ryan North is doing a fantastic job with the series. And one of the things I like about it is you don't have to read every single issue. I feel like you can just kind of jump in really whenever. And it's just a great time. Wonderful dynamic between Ben and Johnny in this one. And no complaints.
All right.
No.
A lot of these issues are one shots and but they're just really good. There's just no waste to it. So
it's a great series if you're already familiar with the team and you just need something to just like kind of reconnect with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I think it's like reintroducing comic book readers to like the good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Deadpool number 2. Did you read that as well?
I did.
I read issue number 1, and I liked it, but Alyssa Wong's run is one of my favorite Deadpool runs, and that was the one run right before this, where he got Princess or whatever the Carnage dog is.
Princess.
Is it Princess?
Yeah.
Okay. But Alyssa Wong's character Valentine isn't in this series, as far as I know. Unless, did Valentine appear in this issue?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So that's Wade's ex.
Yeah.
Did they have a child?
No. Wade does have a child with somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And this, okay. I don't see that's so I didn't read the series before.
Yeah.
But a daughter appears in this one. That's I don't know if I just completely ruined something, but it kind of seemed like everybody knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He has a daughter from like a couple runs before.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's hanging out. She's trying to get in touch with him. It was a good time. Again, like story-wise, not a whole lot to say. He's recruited some people to help him kind of start up a small business, but he says himself he doesn't really want to do anything big until issue 3 or 4. So this was I've enjoyed it so far, and I think Princess is a good addition to this little family we've got.
Yeah. Read the run. It's Alyssa Wong's run. I got them to
last time.
You didn't read it?
No, you just told me about it last time.
Yeah, but you didn't read the
run. No, not like the 4 weeks since I've talked to you now.
It's only I think it's 10 issues or 12 issues or something. It's only 2 books essentially. And I got Alyssa to sign the first book, the first trade. And so
nice.
I met them at Chicago C2E2. So it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Daredevil number 9. That's another Maggie book. I'm all caught up except for number 9. So I'm meant to read
I'm not.
You gotta catch up, Ambrosia.
I know.
I'll be honest with both of you.
Not a fan?
I read that this was the first one I've read probably since issue like 2 or 3.
Okay.
It lost me for a little bit, and then I mean I've been pulling it still, but I was like, Electra's on the cover. I'll read it. It's good.
Okay.
Neither one of you read it, so I don't want to say much else other than that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Who's writing it right now?
It's still.
It's Saladin Ahmed.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't entirely sure how to pronounce their first name.
He told me it rhymes with Halloween, so Saladin.
Okay, sweet.
Halloween Saladin. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can remember that.
I met him at last year's C2E2, and then he's gotten a lot busier since then, and so he's the Daredevil writer now, and so
cool. Good for him. That's exciting.
Maggie, are you gonna do an Elektra cosplay, like Elektra Daredevil cosplay?
I've never cosplayed as a character before.
I thought you were She-Hulk once.
Oh well, that was for Halloween.
Oh.
I don't really consider Halloween.
That's the gateway drug.
Fair enough. I don't know. I think I'm too old to do cosplay.
No, you're not.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Ew,
you're
gross.
like the same age as us. You're
Ew.
Are
not
close. Yeah, I don't know. I feel
it's okay. I don't cosplay either.
Yeah.
That's
for those much younger than I.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But all right, we'll move on from there.
I don't. That's another expensive hobby that I would much rather invest in.
Legos,
comics, and Lego.
Yeah,
that's a totally fair point.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have time to try to learn something because then you have to learn how to sew, and even though you say you don't, like it's more economically like if you could do things like that. So yeah. I've already just told myself like that's a whole nother realm.
We gotta close this up. So let's go through real quick. Venom 33, Ambrosia. Did you read it?
Yes.
Good or not good?
Yes,
thumbs
I
up
did.
Or thumbs down?
Sideways.
Okay, sideways. All right.
Yes. If you're expecting like Lee Price to, because Lee Price is literally on the cover, but it's not how you expect it to be. And also, I don't know too much about the Captive, which we see that character in here as well. So I would like to do my research on the Captive and then go back and reread this.
Okay. You didn't read Doctor Strange 15, right?
No.
Okay, that's cool. But you read Darth Vader 46?
I was halfway done.
All right. Good or not good or too early to tell?
Good.
Okay. What about Star Wars: The High Republic number 7?
Good.
Okay. Cool.
Very good.
That's it. That's all we got.
Perfect.
I want to take this time to thank anyone out there who is watching us live on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. So, for example, Curly Insane Guy, thanks so much for tuning in. You probably saw Maggie's post, I think, on Threads. Is that where you posted, Maggie?
I did post it on Threads.
Yeah. See, there we go, you know. Thank you, Curly Insane Guy, for tuning in. Loved having you in the chat. Keep coming back, because we do this here every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But for anyone out there who's listening, you're listening to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music for podcasts, and SoundCloud. So some of those are new and some of those are old. Pretty much anywhere you get your podcast from, we are there. And we're on social media, TikTok and Instagram at The Keeg Show. We're also on Threads, Twitter, Facebook at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show, wherever. Patreon.com / The Keeg Show, you know, so on and so forth. Also, check out comicshoplocator.com. Find a comic shop near you. Support your local comic shops. Find one that you vibe with. And also, if you do that, let us know what are the good comic shops in your area, ones that you rep and you recommend. Before we get going, Maggie, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
You can find me on the World Wide Web at Vegan Superkick. If there is a social media platform that I'm on, that's my username on it. Threads, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that fun stuff. You can also follow my store. We are at Toy Vomit on Instagram. We are always buying toys and comic book collections. That's really all I got to plug.
All right. Follow Vegan Superkick and Toy Vomit. All right. Ambrosia, where can we find you? What do you got?
Mine's even less.
What?
You can find me at TikTok at Comics and Cupcakes, and Instagram at Ambrosia_Linda. Ta-da!
Awesome.
That's it.
You could find me at This Is Dimithri. The reason I'm plugging that is because I am right now on a winning streak on Person, Place, or Thing. It is a game show on Fox. I won, I think today was my 13th episode, so I won my 13th episode, and I'm on to my 14th. And that is tomorrow. Check your local listings for when Person, Place, or Thing pops up, but you will see me. And how long do I go? I just keep going until I lose. So, you know, you can find more info at This Is Dimithri on, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and whatever. All the stuff is there. For anyone else, yes, Comic Talk is every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We also got the Keeg Talks every weekend or so. We're going to be talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We also got the X-Men 97 after shows. If you're watching X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, definitely worth checking out. It's on its final couple episodes for the season. So, watch those episodes and then stay tuned for the after show. We got a lot going on, and I am spread thin, but I am doing my best. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Ambrosia, so much for coming on the show, taking time out of your Thursday to be here. It has been a while, I think, since I've had, I've never had both you on at the same time, I think.
No.
It's a rare occurrence. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been another episode of Comic Talk for the week of May 9th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.